Hey all, welcome to Share Trek. This is Raj here. I hope all of you are having a great holiday season so far. I'm having a good time. New Year is just a few days away, so I'm looking forward to that. I was thinking that at this time I should give you something useful and rather not talk about disease or stocks. So I dipped into my life experiences and I have a few nuggets to share with you as we look into 2023. These are financial concepts for you to consider. Yes, I'm still in holiday mood. As you can see, now I have a gentle stubble out here. So I'm just enjoying not having to shave daily. So this is one of my creature comforts at this point of time. Having said that, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. My gift to you this holiday season is going to be some ideas on how to handle the rising interest rate regime and a potential recession. In my last video, I mentioned that if the interest rate hikes are overdone, we may end up in a recession. I would like to pick up from there and suggest some solutions that you can consider. As we enter into a recession, inflation is high and the central bank would have hiked the interest rates, leading to a drop in demand that results in increasing unemployment. This is a characteristic of a recession, decreasing employment and dropping GDP. This is when the central bank will start lowering the interest rate. And let us look at it in a different way so that you feel much more optimistic about this. Boom and bust is the way the economic cycles work. Every subsequent boom takes us higher, while every subsequent bust generally stays just above the previous bust or much above the previous bust. So overall, the global economy keeps on going upwards in an ever-expanding manner. The global GDP keeps on going up. So that's a given based on whatever we have seen historically. So if we were to look at the boom or economic expansion, we have had around 12 since 1980. There have been 12 economic expansions since 1980. The earlier expansions were short-lived, barely lasted a couple of years. However, as productivity and technology improved and globalization improved, we saw boom periods last much longer. For example, the last three booms were from 1961 to 1969. That's almost an 8 to 9 year span. Then we had one from 1991 to 2001. That's almost 10 years. And from 2009 to 2020, that's almost 11 years. So the last boom lasted 129 months to be precise, only to be brought to a screeching halt by the COVID pandemic and the trade war that we had. We have had about 12 booms and 11 recessions so far. The greatest of them lasted 18 months. So the biggest recession that we had started in December 2007 and ended in June 2009. That was around 18 months. However, the average duration of a recession has been only 11 months. So if a recession was to happen, it should finish somewhere before or slightly after 11 months. The exception was the recession of 2020 that lasted only 2 months. We had 2 quarters of negative growth and then immediately we bounced back. You could recollect, it's just a recent past. So that was really very good. I hope something similar happens to us at this point of time. In case we were going near a recession, I would be happy with a very short recession rather than a long one, which goes to around 11 or 12 months. So we can say that if a recession does happen, it should not go beyond 11 months because the stats point to that end. And also productivity has improved and a lot of new technology that we have developed could help cushion the recession to a good extent. So how does one prepare for a recession if it happens? And that's where my gift to you comes in. From my experience, first I would say that my advice for recession can also easily be repurposed to become financially independent in good times. You might have heard of a movement called as F.I.R.E, Financial Independence Retire Early. So people who practice F.I.R.E try to be financially very prudent and they try to save enough and get their money to work for them so that they don't have to work for money. So that's the concept behind F.I.R.E. So if you need to know more about this, let me know in the comments and I'll start adding some information about that, because I personally believe that my wife and we had done this earlier, and that's how I was able to retire at 50. So I can share some of the tricks that I had and some best practices. And if you're interested in that, please don't forget to put it in the comment. And I'll start a segment, maybe one video every week on this particular topic so that you can consider them. Okay, first thing to do to prepare for a recession is to make sure that you have saved up sufficient money for 6 months of living expenses. I'm saving at least for 6 months. it's better to have longer than that. But if you can't do 6 months, do 3 months, do something. At this stage, we still have time to do this, as we are not yet in a recession in the United States. This acts as a cushion in case one was to lose their job due to recession. More months of living expenses, the better you will be to survive the recession and to bounce back. Second, watch your spending and try to keep it to the minimum. Those that spend like usual are likely to suffer harder during recession. What do I mean by saying watch your spending? Well, let me elaborate. Let us take the case that you need to buy yogurt, milk, and bread. You live in the suburbs and you work in the city. I would say that instead of buying these from the shop in the city, reach your suburbs and go to the local grocery and buy. The cost of commercial premises in the city is much higher than in the suburbs. As a result, any produce that you buy in the city is going to have a rent portion which is much higher than the rent portion that will be there in the price of the same commodity that you buy in the suburb. So you'll find that difference. So that is one of the things I would suggest. And the other thing I would say is that don't blindly buy stuff. Look at the price. We have this habit of just taking things, putting into our shopping cart and then checking out. That's good for the good times. But as you start preparing for recession, one of the habits that you should have is to look at the prices. It may so happen that the same thing might be cheaper in another supermarket next to you. So you can always make sure that you buy at the right price instead of paying an extra premium. So think about that. When I say watch your spending, I'm also saying that reduce your shopping trips. The more you go on shopping trips, the more you're going to end up spending unnecessarily. When you go to shopping, make sure you have a shopping list and stick to it. In good times, we just go to the shopping mall on impulse and do a lot of impulsive purchases. But if you go to grocery shopping without a shopping list, you will end up spending 20% more. If you go to the mall without a shopping list, you'll definitely end up spending way more. We are now preparing for a short, tough period. So having a shopping list will not compromise your quality of life, but will help you save up for living expenses, because the 20% that you would not have spent on impulsive purchases will go back into your savings, and it will help you for a rainy day. Third, use your credit card for all your purchases and pay promptly at the end of each invoice period. For this purpose, get a free cashback card. When I say free cashback card, I mean that the card should not have any membership fee. There are a lot of them available. So qualify for one, buy a free membership card, a free credit card, and it should be a cashback credit card, and use it for all your purchases. You automatically get 1% or 1.5% or 2% of your cashback. And when you fill up on gas, you get 3 cents or something off. At least that's the scheme that we have here in Canada. You may have it in your country in a different way, but you definitely save something. If you do not use the free cashback credit card, you are actually leaving money on the table. The grocer or the gas pump has already added the cost they pay to the credit card company. So you better grab it back from the credit card company by using the credit card and getting a cashback. The next tip I would say is to reduce on insurance. If you are a 2-car household, for example, you can do this. For example, I have a Mini Cooper which my wife uses, it's her car, and I have a SUV which I use. For winters, we do not drive the Mini in the snow. So I tell my insurance provider that one car will stay in the garage, and I get a reduction in the insurance premium for the winter months. So that's money saved. So you can also consider doing that. Those of you who are lucky to be sitting on cash, you can now get high interest paying deposit products and can keep your cash there for safe returns. This cash will be the 6 or more months of living expenses that you're saving up, and it's going to earn a little more to pad it up. Now, let us look at the employment situation. Now is the time to be extra careful with your job situation. Be punctual at work, go the extra mile to do your job well, and show your value to the company. At times like these, companies let go of underperformers or problematic employees. Be at your best at the work so that you don't have to dip into your living expenses. If you stay employed during the recession, you can avoid having to dip into your living expenses. You may have to take extra responsibilities, and I recommend that you take it proactively and with good humor. Do not negotiate over that. Do not throw a tantrum over it. Accept it very happily and do it very well. This will help you get your promotion as the company rebounds after the recession. Remember, recessions last for 11 months. Putting that little extra effort for those 11 months by taking additional responsibilities without extra pay makes your company invest in you, and the time and effort that you have invested in your company is going to give you valuable company-specific experience that the company will value when it starts building back its team once we are out of recession. And at that point of time, you will be ideal for a promotion because you stayed with the company, you took extra responsibilities and helped the company tide over recession. So you have the best chance of growing. When new employees come in, you will be a senior and you'll have more experience and you'll go up in the hierarchy. So that's my advice to you when it comes to employment. And when you're still employed, it's easy to forget that you're in a recession. Stay level-headed and count your blessings and continue working hard. Remember, there are 10 other people out there who don't have a job, who envy the fact that you have a job and you're having a steady paycheck. So always keep that in your mind. When it comes to accommodation, as a realtor, I have some advice for you. As we enter into recessions, rents will be high. So do not leave your current accommodation unless it's absolutely essential. The rents will be high because high-cost mortgage prevents addition of rental stock. And people who are saving up to buy a house of their own are not able to do so because they do not qualify for mortgage anymore to buy the house. Therefore, they continue to rent. So new rental stock is not getting liberated. So that's the reason why rents will go up. And also landlords will be paying higher interest rates on their mortgage. They will pass on to the tenants. Therefore, the interest rate is going to feed into the rents. So in Toronto, for example, some that are renting 3-bedroom condos are subletting 2 bedrooms to recoup rent and reduce their cost of living. Not sure if this can be done elsewhere, but it's definitely happening in Toronto. So if you're unfortunate that you bought a house from a builder earlier and it is now coming for closing. Closing means this is when you have to pay the balance of the money and take ownership of the house. Then I recommend that you go for a short-term fixed interest mortgage. How short? I would say anywhere between 1 to 2 years. The short-term mortgage will give you an early opportunity to shop for better interest rates as the central bank starts to cut interest rates to bring the economy out of the recession. At that time, go for a variable rate mortgage as interest rates will only go down. So that's my advice to you. However, if you lock into a 5-year term when you're buying this house and closing it, you will pay penalty for early termination, and that will prevent you from taking advantage of lower interest rate that may start appearing. You'll not be finding it advantageous to break your current mortgage and take advantage of the lower rates because the penalties will be much higher. It will be based on the higher interest rate that you're paying. And next, I would like to come finally to the mental state. Try to spend time with family. Good things in life are free. Take a walk with the family in the park or beach, play board games at home, watch your favorite TV shows, socialize with friends in your backyard, talk about this and that and everything, talk about good times. All this helps to stay mentally fresh. And those of you who are in Canada, this winter time is very difficult. I think our winters are going all the way up to end of March and sometimes even into April or early May. So it's a very difficult time for Canadians who are not used to winter sports. Those who are used to winter sports can definitely have a good time. They can go cross-country skiing or camping or something like that, which is not very expensive. At the same time, it's interesting. But for the others, I think having get-togethers at home and having a potluck or something, those things help you have a very good mental balance, do some meditation, etc. Well, these are some of the suggestions that I can think of that you may want to consider in the event you think that a recession is imminent. If you do all this and a recession does not happen, you would have laid the foundation of F.I.R.E. lifestyle. The FIRE lifestyle stands for financial independence, retire early. Wouldn't you like to retire at 50 or 45 or 30? If you want to do those things, these are some of the key steps that you need to take. You have to change your lifestyle and you will do very well. And I think that if you want to know more about this, I have plenty of information. So please let me know in the comments if you'd like to get more information like this. I'll either have at least once a week videos for you on these things, or I'll use the community tab to post more information out there for you. So please do not forget to put a comment. Please like, share, and subscribe. And have a great holiday and Happy New Year to you all in advance in case I don't make another video before the New Year. Bye for now.